Good evening. The time is 6:30 p.m. The regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Freehold for November 10th, 2025 is now called to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 231 of the laws of 1975, the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of the time, date, and location of this meeting has been provided by posting a copy of the public meeting dates on the municipal bulletin board, by sending a copy to the Asbury Park Press, and by filing a copy with the municipal clerk. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for a salute to the flag, followed by a moment of silence as we remember Bernie Weinstein, who passed away, who was a long-time member of our Memorial Day Parade Committee, amongst others. So please remember Bernie. Chief, will you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Kane.
Here.
Councilman DiBenedetto.
Here.
Councilman Friedman.
Here.
Councilwoman Jordan. Here. Councilman Reich.
Here.
Councilwoman Rogers. Here. Councilwoman Schutzer. Here.
We have before this evening our workshop discussion. I don't believe we have any workshop, do we?
Nothing for discussion, sir.
Okay. Item 5 is the approval of minutes, council meeting October 20th, 2025.
I'd like to move that.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilperson DiBenedetto.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Jordan. Yes. Reich.
Yes.
Rogers. Yes. Schutzer.
Yes.
Okay, the approval of the minutes of council meeting October 20th, 2025 are approved. Item 6 is the second reading of public hearing ordinance 2025/20, amending chapter 18 zoning of the Borough Code in order to amend the regulations for parking. This is the second reading and public hearing. I'd like to open up to the public. If anyone from public care to address this ordinance, please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Seeing no comment from the public, I move the public portion be closed.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson DiBenedetto.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Jordan. Yes. Reich.
Yes.
Rogers. Yes. Schutzer.
Yes.
Okay, our public portion is closed. We have a resolution adopting ordinance 2025/20 and authorization of publication.
I'll move that.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I'll just note again that the public, that this is, an amendment in the process of trying to, tighten up our landlord registration ordinance. This specifically deals with parking. It prohibits stacking when it comes to being able to use stacking to calculate your parking requirements, limits it to 2 vehicles. And it clarifies over a number of certain bedrooms that the parking requirement exists, no matter how many bedrooms there are, and that there's an increase in the parking need every time there's a bedroom added. So hopefully this will help further limit some of our houses being converted and bedrooms added.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson DiBenedetto.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Jordan. Yes. Reich.
Yes.
Rogers. Yes. Schutzer.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025/20 is adopted. Item 7 is first reading and introduction. Ordinance 2025/22, amending and supplementing Title 5 business licenses and regulations, landlord registration.
I'll make a motion, please.
Second. Any discussion?
Yeah, this too is like a continuing part of our effort to tighten down some of these ordinances. We had added some requirements that a property cannot be advertised unless it was registered. We added some other ordinances to it, but apparently there was a line in there that allowed property owner to wait 30 days until they registered the property as a rental property. So this takes that out and makes it very clear that to all that are reading and enforcing that a property must be registered and inspected and all done and ready to go before it's put on the market.
Any further discussion?
Amen.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson DiBenedetto.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Jordan. Yes. Reich.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schutzer.
Yes.
The ordinance 2025/22 is introduced. Item 8 is the first reading and introduction to ordinance 2025/23, amending and fixing and determining salaries of certain officer positions and employees of the Borough of Freehold.
I'll offer that. Second.
please.
Councilperson De Benedetto?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers? Schuster?
Yes.
The ordinance 2025/23 is introduced. Item 9 is our consent agenda, and just a note that matters listed under the items of consent agenda are required to conduct the day-to-day operations of the borough will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired of any items, that item will be considered separately. Would someone like to move consent agenda items CR1 through CR6?
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to pull CR4 from that and vote on that separately.
I agree.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I will move CR1 through 3 and CR5 and 6.
And I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson De Benedetto?
Yes, with corrections.
Friedman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda items CR1 through CR3 and CR5 and CR6 are adopted. We move to consent agenda item CR4, authorizing planning board to undertake a preliminary investigation to determine if certain properties on scattered sites constitute an area in need of redevelopment. The powers of eminent domain for the local redevelopment housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1, etc.
Mr. Chairman, Steve Gallo, Borough Administrator, on this resolution. The purpose of this resolution is to try and improve the community. We've identified a number of properties throughout, that's why we call this a scattered site redevelopment study, throughout the community that have fallen into disrepair, that have a higher than normal number of code complaints and violations against them. Some of the properties are overgrown lots with nothing on them. Others are derelict houses or businesses that have long been vacant, or properties that just don't seem to be going anywhere. And we want to send a message to the community that these properties are important. I'll give you an example. One of them is the car lubricating place at the beginning of the point, the end of Broadway there and Spring Street. It's a brownfield, doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So we're going to study it under the powers granted to the municipality under the local redevelopment law. And if it is determined that it meets the criteria, we're going to offer it up to anybody who's interested in it. And if they are interested in acquiring it and developing it within a reasonable period of time, which will be stipulated, we'll get these properties back on productivity and back on the tax rolls. We're willing to talk to people. These owners, they'll receive adequate notice, and if they want to come in and talk about what their future plan for these properties are, we're all ears. We'd like to work with them to redevelop their properties and put them back into productive use and to remove these eyesores from the neighborhoods where people live. The properties are identified as 61 Throckmorton Street, 25 West Main Street, 6 Fulton Street, 1 Broadway, 64 Mechanic Street, 62 Mechanic Street, 25 Institute Street, and 127 West Main Street. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So to be clear, at this point, we're just doing a study.
That's correct, yes, there's a process that's involved. It involves commissioning the study, which will be accomplished by our planner. A report will be generated. Then it will be reviewed by the planning board to determine whether or not it's consistent with our master plan. And then it would come back here for a formal declaration as areas in need of redevelopment. The owners of those properties will be given notice by registered mail, and they'll be invited to come in and talk about what their future plans are, if they're viable and they're interested in rehabilitating these properties, because some of them are in some neighborhoods and you wouldn't want to live next door to them. And the people who live in these neighborhoods don't deserve this, so we'd like to get them back to productive use. And this is our first step. Once we're done with these, we'll identify 10 more until all properties are addressed.
And so, I just want to, so this will be a hearing by the planning board,
Correct?
and the property owners will be present if they wish to be.
That's correct.
And if they've got a viable plan, or any plan to
Sure.
restore and maintain their property in a condition that is not a detriment to their neighbors,
Yes,
that will be
offered to them.
offered to
Absolutely.
them, and the property's not being stolen from them.
Absolutely not.
And if the property owner cannot or will not do the proper things, it will go through a process where the property owner will get paid fair value,
That's correct.
and to alleviate that blight from the neighborhood.
That's correct as well. And this affords us the ability to use the tools in the redevelopment toolbox to work with the owners to come forward and incentivize a redevelopment project that is appropriate for the area. So we're interested in having a conversation. These people know these properties. They've gotten their share of code violation notices, and we'd like to talk to them.
I mean, one of these properties, you know, I've been told by the neighbors has vultures living in it and doesn't have electric, someone's squatting in it, it's.
Jeff,
a
you and
total
I were
mess.
out at this property, we visited it, we looked at it, we saw what it looked like in the neighborhood, and it's bringing the neighborhood down.
So it's not like we're selling this to a developer who's gonna put a 7-story building on
No.
a single block.
The area is zoned for a
Right.
single-family home, and that's what it will be zoned for moving forward.
Thank you.
Steve, for somebody that's in, let's say, financial stress,
Yes,
and the property is in need of repair, and have fallen on hard times, have you looked at any other ways, to any banking, low financing or grants out there that
Well-
can help these people out with?
that's a very good question, and the borough does offer money to people who are income eligible to rehabilitate their property. We have, I believe it's up to $20,000 to make repairs, and we're willing to talk to people if that's their interest as well, if they want to do that. And we'll help them identify other sources of funding to make repairs on their properties.
But it's not like these properties, it's not like a property came into disrepair last week
That's
and we're
correct.
throwing it, I mean, I think all these are 5 years plus.
Oh, more.
Oh, I'm being, you know,
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
This is just a next step for us. I mean, right now, as we move forward with the redevelopment in town, we set certain standards that we expect everyone to be able to come up to. And like Mike said, if you can't afford it, we're here to help.
Sure.
But, you know, we're getting more time into our historic preservation, and we've set standards for what we want to see in this community, and we want to keep moving forward in those standards. And it's not fair to people in the borough who are living next to some of these homes, where they're run down, and you send code out, code gives them a violation, they pay the fine, and they do absolutely nothing.
Sure.
And this is our opportunity to set our standards and to move forward and make these absentee landlords or whomever they are, do the work that needs to get done.
That's correct. There's a property on Mechanic Street with plywood windows, it's got chains on the doors, and it's owned by some folks in Staten Island who probably haven't visited it in years.
And that's totally unacceptable.
Absolutely unacceptable.
Probably writing it off. And this is like this is not, as someone said, this is not like, 2 weeks ago, we spotted a property that is, this is like the last ditch effort to get these places up to code
That's correct.
so that, along with rights come responsibilities.
Absolutely.
And part of those responsibilities are to the other residents, and especially the residents who live in those communities, with that,
Sure.
with some of this stuff next door. And so it's not like we haven't tried everything we can do. It's a last ditch effort to try to get some relief for the residents. And as Steve said, we have an RCA program that will provide money, and all you have to do is live there for 10 years after the money is spent on code violations, and the money is erased. You get it, and it's done away with. You don't have to pay it back.
That's correct.
Correct?
Yep.
So, it's not like, I get a little frustrated at some of the complaints, and yet, some of the complaints, I would bet, are coming from people who complain about code not doing its job, and things not being addressed in the borough, and putting pictures on the internet saying, this is terrible, So, this is just something where we're trying to protect the rights of everyone. And at those who have to live next door to something like this.
Sure. That's an important message we'd like to send out to the community. We hear you, we are listening, and we're acting.
Any other questions? Thank you. Roll call, please.
I think we have to move the.
I will move to consent agenda item CR4.
I'll second.
Now we'll have a roll.
Councilperson Benedetto?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Rogers? Schuster?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda item CR4 is adopted. That's the end of our consent agenda. Item 10 is the approval of bills.
I'll make a motion that we pay our bills.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Benedetto?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yes.
Okay, our bill list for this week's meeting is approved. Item 11, discussion item. That time of year again for review of our best practices inventory. I'll turn it over to our administrator, Mr. Gallo.
Mr. Mayor and council members on the dais, citizens here in the chamber, as well as those who may be watching at home. Annually, we are provided with the best practices inventory, which is promulgated by the Department of Community Affairs. One of the most interesting things about this job is that there's nothing new under the sun. Whatever problem we may have faced or we may be facing, another community has probably already faced it. And this is an opportunity where the state allows everyone to share ideas and to develop practices that everybody should be doing. And they ask every year, are you doing these things? And there's a score that you have to get over 32 or greater. The score that we've achieved on this year's best practices inventory is 39. So we will get our full allotment of state aid. And every year there's also test questions that make it onto the best practices. They're listed as unscored. And they're just new ideas that on issues that we should be solving or that we should be addressing. So we'll have this up on the internet if anybody's interested in looking at it. And it's available, every council member has a copy of it. If you have any questions, I'll try and answer them.
Are there any questions, Mr. Gallo, about this?
I don't have any questions, I have a comment, as I always do. This is, we find out these items that are listed on here, we find these out after the fact. Am I correct? At the end of the year, we find these.
Many of them are carried year to year, but the new ones, we find out, yeah.
It's like dangling, a carrot in front of the horse, and they are things like 2 of our no's involve electric vehicles. Do you have an electric charging station in your town for your electric vehicles? Do you have at least one electric vehicle in your fleet? Those kinds of things.
Sure.
So,
And it's not for lack of trying. As you know, I'd like an electric charging station, but they are so expensive. And the state represents that there's all kinds of grant money available. Unfortunately, our experience has been that it's not true.
I have just one comment too. I see a little section on here earlier today that remuneration.
Yes.
And I believe it was, I think it's before I got on council, 2018 or so. We had got jumped ahead of that. We were in
Yes.
the ordinance, and we've been doing this for at least 5 to 6 years already. So
That's correct, yeah.
kudos to the staff, for everything that's done.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's unscored, so next year we'll be asking about it. So
Yep.
Show how it's done.
Anybody else? Yeah, we don't need to move anything.
No.
Just acknowledge in the minutes that we reviewed it.
That's correct. Tracy has to report that it was reviewed.
Okay, thank you. Item 12 is a redevelopment presentation. Dashley LLC requesting modification to the council resolution 171-23 dated August 21st, 2023, 10 East Main Street, Block 62, Lot 5. Just like to ask our attorney, Mr. Cosgrove, if you could just tee this one up for us.
Mr. Mayor, yes, this is an application to the redevelopment. It was previously approved in 2023. Applicant applicant's attorney, Mr. Alfieri, submitted a request that the redevelopment entity consider a modification to the prior approval to change the square footage of the retail space, which was previously approved for 3,812 square feet, and up that to 4,000 square feet, and the office space, which was approved at 2608, to just increase that to 2610. And additionally, it would require, with those modifications, it would require an additional modification, as there would be deficient one additional space for a total deficiency of 5 spaces.
Hello, everyone. Again, Salvatore Alfieri on behalf of the applicant. The summary is right on and accurate, and nothing's changing on the exterior of the building in terms of footprint. The reason the square footages have been modified slightly is because of interior floor plan renovations or modifications that Mr. Clark will get to in a moment. We do have to correct one other point, and that is that your planner correctly points out that there is a corridor, the shared corridor that everyone gets access through, that we did not count in square footage for parking calculations. So if you count that corridor as requiring a parking space, we will be short 6 spaces instead of 5. It's not additional square footage that's being used for retail and or office, but it's for parking calculations. And Mr. Clark will get into that in a minute as well. So we still have proposing 2 retail and 3 office, so none of that's changing. It's just the internal floor plans that are going to be impacted. If the governing body endorses this evening, we have a meeting with the HPC next week, and if we get through that, then we would have to go to the planning board for the final process of the approval. We didn't do that last time you granted this approval because of whatever issues that occurred with the applicant or the property owner, so but now he's prepared to move it forward through these various stages. So if we could have Mr. Clark present the floor plan changes, you'll have a better understanding of
What was the permanent deficiency before?
It was 4 before. We presented it as 5 by the increased square footage based upon the elimination of the stairwell, basically.
So we're going from a deficiency from 4 to 6.
Now we're going to 6 because we have to include the corridor calculation.
Okay.
Was the corridor included in the previous?
I don't know, because I don't think it was.
I'm not
Because-
sure.
The corridor was there.
It was- we just never
This
counted.
wasn't calculated in the parking.
Exactly.
So 4 to 6 was really
Yeah,
5.
I think we just missed it last time because the floor plan hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the parking calculation is based on gross square footage, not net, so you would consider the corridor.
Right. And the other thing is there is a basement. We will stipulate tonight, we'll stipulate at the HPC, and we'll stipulate at the planning board level that it will not be used for retail and or office space. And therefore, we don't have a parking allotment for that for the deficiencies.
So, again, my review letter goes through that they do have a basement area that they're proposing to use for storage. It's not clear whether they're proposing to use it for retail storage or office storage. Your ordinances do not provide a separate parking calculation for storage. Again, it's on a gross basis. So in prior applications, yes, the applicant has stipulated that the basement will only be used for storage. I recommend just having a parking calculation that includes the basement, not necessarily to increase their variance or their deviation, but if this application then comes back for another use or another understanding, then there should be a complete understanding of how much parking is tied to that property as is on its gross square footage. And so therefore, if during the planning of the land use board meeting, they stipulate that the basement is only for storage, then there can be, for example, a condition of approval that if that were to change, they'd have to come back for additional variance relief. But as I said, the ordinance itself bases parking on gross square.
Right, and we have no issue with that. That's understood.
Well, if we're gonna give an additional variance for parking, I definitely want, not only give additional variance for parking, and then someone come back a year from now and say, oh, I now wanna put the whole basement of offices and, you know, you can fit another 10 spots. That's the only thing I want, I'm perfectly fine with this, other than that potential possibility.
Well, didn't you say that it would have to stipulate, we would
Yes,
have a
so-
stipulation?
We had a
in there
stipulation like that in
saying
another application, but,
And,
yeah.
So yes, it was, going forward, I'd like to push the borough towards having resolutions that completely outline the square footage of the building and how much parking is associated with that. So that going forward, any additional applications that came in, there'd be an understanding of what the square footage is, what the parking associated with that use was, what the prior variance relief was granted, and what the new application would generate.
So,
So, before the land use board, they would still have to go get a variance for parking. And we would request that the applicant provide a parking breakdown for all square footage, first floor and basement, and what the parking generated with that would be. If they chose to provide testimony saying that they would restrict the basement, and that if it were to be utilized, they would come back, that they would have to come back to the board, that is an option that they can present.
So that's the option we're gonna live with.
and I have a question on that, and you might know the answer, but, so the building was all office, first floor and basement, so it had a parking number that was allocated to it at that point when various parking things changed, so that was like that grandfather number that existed.
27 spaces.
Is that the numbers we're working off today, and we're deficient of that by 4 to 6 or
Yeah,
6
it's gone from
spaces?
27 or 30.
Alright, so it's not like we've already taken into account the basement, grandfathered basement parking has already been taken into account in the calculation that we're doing today.
Correct.
So really, there is no parking available for the basement. Is
That's
it?
correct.
There's no parking currently provided on site.
Well, but even in the grandfathered
Yes, no, I'm just,
situation of the common parking, correct?
Your stipulation, the stipulation you recommended will be written in this agreement.
And you're good with that?
Oh, 100%, yes, we understand. And if Greg can take 2 minutes, just so you fully understand why we're here tonight, what the change is.
Yes, good evening. Greg Clark, architect for the applicant, Bob Clark LLC. Yes, as Mr. Alfieri said earlier, I'm referring to EX1, which is a drawing of the existing site as it exists right now with the exclusion of some partitions. We had a centralized stair in the site there was the only one of 2 stairs that would access the bottom of what used to be Bill Mayor's office, as all of you probably know. So essentially, to access that, we would need an extra corridor to get to that. So in lieu of that, we wanted to maximize our retail space. So by eliminating the central stair, we were able to do, and I'm referring now to drawing A1, this is the proposed plan. We now have the existing stair in the front that exists right now, that's to remain, and then we added another stair for access to the basement. I don't know if you can see it, there's a dotted line here. This rectangle here represents the basement as it exists right now, and as it will stay. But in order to be able to use the basement even as storage and not call it what's called a windowless basement, which would require sprinklers, we had to add another stairwell. So we decided to add the stairwell peripherally with access directly to the alleyway in order to open up this to 2 retail spaces, which did increase the square footage and thus the parking requirement. And plus the retail actually requires more parking anyway. So that's the delta between what was formerly the 27 spots to the 33 is essentially due to the retail and the elimination of the basement as a parking, as parking requirement.
And the footprint doesn't change at all, so we're not increasing the square footage of the building in any way.
Correct. I got one design issue, and I think Adam brought this up basically when this was heard years ago. So you see the vestibule, you did the pre-existing one, you've got it set back, so when the door opened, it wouldn't hit somebody in the alleyway?
Right here, you're
Yeah.
referring to the centralized one?
Yeah, so my concern is, someone opens that door, coming out of that thing, people are, that door is gonna swing right
The
into.
basement door.
No, the stair door,
The new one.
the new door.
Oh, this door, right.
Yeah, that's gonna do what we.
We could actually in-swing that. There's no stipulation based on
If
occupancy
there's any way
that
we
says
get
we
it
have
so
to
the door
swing
is not
that.
swinging out to hit somebody.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, it's a less used access,
Yeah.
if the basement's going to be storage.
Right.
That off chance.
Yeah, code says if you're, I think, 50 people or above, you have to swing the door in direction of egress. The basement's nowhere near that occupancy, so we can easily swing it. That's fine.
Alright, that would be my only. And the design of the building is gonna get thoroughly reviewed by a historic preservation.
Monday.
And you'll follow there.
And you're still not making changes to the exterior? Or you are with the exterior?
I can show them to you if you want. That wasn't really what we were here for, but
Not from the previous design.
It's consistent with what we were doing previously, for the most part.
yeah, it is. Yep.
Okay, that's already been.
Yeah, and then we're gonna bring the materials and all the samples.
No, I meant,
After that door.
you're not I just meant with the new design, you're not expanding anything other than that
No.
door.
Just adding that door.
Yeah, that's.
The parapet's gonna increase just a bit in order to, basically screen the HVAC on the roof.
Yeah, but that's
all.
already
We're going
been
up. We're
approved.
not going out. We're not expanding the footprint. It's just gonna get a little taller. Plus, it'll be a little bit more in proportion with the streetscape as
Okay.
well. Right now, it's the lowest building on that part of the block. We want to just bring it into parity with some of the rest of the buildings that are already there, so.
That makes sense.
And this is just a picky question that you're gonna have to deal with, but the left side there on the back market side entrance where the awning is?
This is the market yard.
Yes, on the left side there. There's a big telephone pole. Is
Right
that
here.
go- Yeah, is that gonna affect stuff for you or?
No, it won't affect the entry. It'll just, it's sitting like this, get right here. We don't have it represented on the rendering.
Alright,
That's a good point. I mean, but it's not gonna restrict the entry to this one space.
I have a temporary aesthetic request. If possible, your client could paint the plywood that's blocking the windows on the Main Street side,
to match the
black,
building.
or even if it was the gray of the shutters.
It should be according to the code, it should be the color of the building.
Okay, so
So
then
then the color of the building.
It's on the
Main Street
on Main Street side.
It's a very, very stark point of this building is under construction or something's going on, but it detracts from that, and especially if all the work is gonna be done.
I'll call him tomorrow.
Thank you.
He may be watching tonight.
I'm sure historic preservation might appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make a note of that now, future presentations.
Yeah, and then any other, as he's going forward, anything that's boarded up, keep it as clean as possible.
Greg, can you explain the one-way in, one-way out of the basement, that's in compliance with the code?
No, it's not one way, it's just two means ingress, egress. right?
Yeah, we have the current, this is Main Street, so we have the current stair that's coming out, which currently egresses into the building. We're gonna egress that out onto Main Street.
On Main Street. So
Correct.
you're not-
Can we do that too with the door there?
Okay.
We could, I mean, if that's still a
I
concern.
was just thinking,
The-
you know,
It
These
is.
doors are going to be by code swinging out.
Yep.
So this one as well, I mean, does it make a
Well,
difference?
those will be basically storefront looking windows.
Well, so will this. This door is gonna match the other ones. It's gonna be glass.
Alright, and then,
So if you see it here, we wanted to blend it in with the
Yeah,
storefronts.
okay.
So essentially it'll be a glass door.
okay.
I don't know if that's.
So what I'm getting at is the access to the fire department, you will only have one, but you're gonna have two.
We're gonna have two accesses to the basement, correct? If we didn't, it would be considered a windowless basement, we'd have to add a sprinkler system to it.
Okay, that's
So-
what, yeah, okay.
So in case he is watching, let me just say that I'm nothing if not consistent.
I know.
You know.
Acknowledged.
Anybody else?
Say, shoot, go.
So, we just need, just a nod to move it along, right? Everybody good with,
Yeah, I mean, is it a motion? Is that what?
what do we need,
Yeah, I think at this point, you could deliberate, but it sounds like you kind of had. So we just need a motion to approve. the
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I have a question,
Alright,
if I may. So a motion is to move it on to,
right.
it isn't necessarily giving it, the approval.
Right, well, it would be approved by the redevelopment entity, but they still need to go to the HPC and to the planning board.
Yeah.
Or
those stipulations get into there about the parking. I mean, you know, Steve does good work, the work he does is good, and, you know, sometimes the parking has been an issue. I don't think this is a major, this is two spots is, I'm, at this point, this is gonna be an improvement, and so I support this, I make a motion to approve.
And Mr. Mayor, before we have a second, the resolution will contain, would applicant agree to, would be the restrictions outlined in the planning report, and then we'll just note in there also that the door will swing in instead of out.
And at the bottom, would be painted.
And I'm assuming that's gonna happen before the resolution's done, but I'll put that in.
And then I'm just assuming that, like, because I know he's building that other parking lot, like, eventually he's gonna have extra parking anyway because of that, is certainly.
Hopefully, yes, yes.
So,
But we still have to come back to this board for any.
yeah, absolutely.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Benedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schuster?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 13 this evening are public comments. If anyone from the public is there to make a comment to the governing body, please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Got a two-page letter to read here, so I just figured I'd forewarn you.
Okay.
My name is Gregory Gray, I'm 71 years old, and I live in Tom's River. I've never lived in Freehold. I've never lived in Freehold, but I worked at Nescafe for 40 years. I retired several years ago, but I was hired back as a contractor, and I stayed on until the factory closed in October of 2023. In fact, I stayed on for 6 months after the closing and assisted the auctioneer in preparing the assets for sale, finally checking out for the last time, April 15, 2024. I felt fortunate and honored on that last day, being one of only a handful of employees left after 75 years. When I was working, I would go downtown occasionally for lunch and go to the bank or the post office. I usually would have lunch at Tony's Diner or Sweet Lou's. My wife and I would also come to town once in a while and have pizza at Federici's or Mexican at El Masan, and I attended many Nestle affairs in town over those 40 years. Subconsciously, I was always aware of the poor people that I saw on the street or the many workers in transit at the Freehold Bus Center. I never really gave it much thought. When I finally retired for good in 2024, I decided I was going to do something to give back to those less fortunate in Freehold. I came up with the idea of providing free lunches to those in need. God knows there's plenty of candidates everywhere, including the Freehold Bus Center. On my maiden voyage, so to speak, I brought about 30 sandwiches, or 30 lunches, and drinks, and I feared I may come back home with some. To my surprise and chagrin, I gave out the 30 lunches in about 15 minutes, and left knowing there were many others who would gladly taken one. Each lunch, the original 30 lunches have turned into the present number of 104 lunches handed out every other week, and they're given out in about 90 minutes. Each lunch consists of a ham and cheese sandwich, a Martin's potato roll, a bag of chips, a pack of cookies or other dessert, and a can of soda or a bottle of water. This is what it looks like when it's handed out. The odd number of 104 is because that's the package quantities of the Martin's potato rolls which I buy at Costco. In addition to the potato rolls, I buy 10 to 12 pounds of ham and 10 to 12 pounds of cheese at ShopRite. I buy cases of potato chips and cases of cookies on Amazon, and the water and soda at ShopRite or Stop & Shop, whoever has it on sale. Sandwich bags and the lunch bags are also purchased at Costco. It costs me approximately $350 each time I go, which is every 2 weeks, which I pay for out of my own pocket. Earlier this year, per the health department's request, my sandwiches are made at a food establishment in town that they inspect, and that makes complete sense to me. At that time, I was awarded a food handler's license by the borough. All other items in the lunch bags, as you can see, are commercially packaged, so there's no other issue. Dan Dowdowitz, whatever his last name is, was gracious enough to allow me to make my sandwiches at the Knights of Columbus Columbian Club. In fact, there's usually 3 Knights, including Dan, that help in making the sandwiches each time I go. Last week, while giving out the lunches, when I was down to about 20 lunches left, I was informed by Lynn Cannon over the phone that I could no longer give out the lunches at the Freehold Center because the merchants were complaining that I was taking business away from them. Without sounding disrespectful, I almost laughed when I heard it. For any merchant to intimate I'm taking any appreciable business away from them, for me, is hard to believe. So here's a few facts. First of all, I don't come on any specific day, so no one at the bus station knows in advance what day I'll be there. So if someone was buying food prior to coming to the bus station on a routine basis, they would still buy it the day I come because they wouldn't know in advance I'm coming. Second, I'm only there twice a month for 90 minutes. And the recipients in almost all cases are the non-working poor and the hard-working poor waiting for a bus to get to a tough job somewhere. From my observations during those 90 minutes, these people are not buying food at the bus station or anywhere else near the bus station. Again, as far as I can tell. If I am taking away a few sales, we punish 104 people who may be getting an only meal that day for the 5 people who might buy a hard roll twice a month. Many recipients of these lunches are overjoyed when they get them. Many are regulars, and others are quizzical when I give it to them. One man last week, who I never saw before, looked at me when I gave him that lunch and said, "It's a miracle." And I said, "No, it's ham and cheese." I've given lunches to men who have just gotten out of jail, whose whole life is in a trash bag. Likewise, people getting out of rehab. The people I serve are men and women, black, white, and brown, anywhere from 8 to 80, and they all have one thing in common. They could use a helping hand. You know, there's a guy from Freehold, a rock and roll singer, I think, who once said, "In the end, nobody wins unless everybody wins." In conclusion, I would ask that you confer with Lynn Cannon to find a way to allow me to continue my mission, because it's the right thing to do. I would even make an offer to donate to the merchant or the merchants in question $50 every time I show up. The merchant would most likely have to sell $100 worth of merchandise in those 90 minutes to make a $50 profit. That should remedy any monetary issue if it truly exists. I'll leave you with one last thought. I provide 2 things to the people who get a free lunch: the lunch itself and the knowledge that someone cares about them. Please do the right thing for me and for them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and there's a copy of the letter.
Great. Thank you. Okay, anyone else from the public care to make a comment? Governing body.
Seeing no further comments, I move the public portion be closed.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilperson De Benedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schutzer?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go to council reports and comments. Council President Reich.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First and foremost, I want to offer my condolences to the family of Bernie Weinstein. Bernie was the last living member of the Jewish War Veterans Olensky Jackson Post 359 Freehold. He was a longtime member and supporter of the Memorial Day Parade Committee and the parade itself. It's unfortunate this year the Jewish War Veterans Post was going to be the host post for the parade, and I believe that we're going to work with the committee to try and retain that. We have reached out to some of the Jewish War Veterans posts in the surrounding towns to come in and represent the Jewish War Veterans this Memorial Day. So we're going to make that happen, and hopefully in honor of Bernie and his time spent with us. I'd like to offer my congratulations to the Spectacular Committee on a fantastic Halloween season once again. Everything was awesome. The hay rides, the downtown window painting, the bash at the Hall of Records, the movie night, everything was fantastic. I really enjoyed the parade itself. It was a beautiful day for it. It was awesome seeing all the kids and the adults in costumes. And it was was really nice to see all those people participating that enjoyed being involved in our town. Whether they came here or they came far, it was nice seeing streets lined with people who wanted to have a little fun and enjoy some Halloween spirit. So just a job well done for the capital committee and gratitude. This past Saturday, the majority, those of us who attend, were at the second round of the Veteran Sign Toppers Recognition Program. I'd like to say congratulations and thank you to all those that were honored, both to them and their family members as well. It was a beautiful morning, and we got to honor some very, very well-deserved people in our town. And I have to laugh because Yolanda gave this fantastic speech before we actually started her sign tower, and then we told her that she had to speak again. At the first, she said, no, I couldn't do it. And she's well, if you have to have me do it, I'll do it again. But it was very nice to see, and it's great day, and I want to thank everybody who turned out for that. And I also want to offer my thanks to Dan Xavier and the Veteran Recognition Program for putting together this wonderful program that's going to be active for years to come. I'd like to wish a happy 250th birthday to the Marine Corps. Thank you for all your service and everything you do. And also for tomorrow, thank you to all of our veterans. Lest we forget. That's why we do a lot of things that we do in our town to make sure that we don't forget. Lastly, I just have I know that we're going to have a reorg meeting coming up, but I just have a quick note of gratitude. I am profoundly honored and deeply grateful to the residents of our community for entrusting Margaret and I with the privilege of serving a third term on this council. The results of this election is a powerful affirmation of the work we've accomplished together over the past years, and your confidence means the world to me. I do not take this responsibility lightly. I promise to continue working to the best of my ability on your behalf, dedicating myself to addressing the issues that matter most, from enhancing public safety and improving local infrastructure to supporting responsible redevelopment and fostering sustainable economic growth. Thank you once again for this incredible opportunity to keep Freehold Borough thriving and moving forward together. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Tubbs.
Yes, I too would like to congratulate and thank this spectacular committee. A couple times Annette called me and said, oh, we're going to be doing this. If you want to stop by and we'll be doing this, just to say hi. And found myself carrying around those things you move. Barricade things, right, exactly. That committee works hard, like the Memorial Day Parade, so many of the committees, but I couldn't keep up. Our seniors holiday party, thanks to the fact that Mr. J. Sims has agreed to drive our bus. Our seniors holiday party, I put the things outside if anybody needs them, will be on December the 6th from 1 o'clock to 3:30 at the Elks Lodge. Reservations are required, and all the information's on the flyer if you know anybody who's a senior, 62 years or older in Freehold. I too would like to offer birthday congratulations to the Marine Corps. 250 years, as some of you know. I lived with the Marine for 42 years, and when we were first married, he thought that drill sergeant stuff was gonna, work. Yeah, silly man. Foolish man. But what a wonderful, and the Marine Corps League here in town, how involved they are as a veterans group and what they do. I went yesterday afternoon late to Macy's to return a pair of pants that I had purchased to exchange them, and two young men, and when I say young men, walked out of Macy's, held the door for me, and had on hats that said Marine Corps Veterans. So of course I had to say something to them, and they were so full of pride and respect that I just thought it was fitting that on the day before the Marine Corps birthday, I would see those two young men who served their country so proudly. The vets program, the toppers, the street toppers, what a wonderful program that is, and well-deserved, very touching. Thank you to Dan Xavier and the committee for that work. Congratulations, Margaret and Adam, for your re-election. I want to also remind everybody that I wanted to have flyers, but it's posted on the outside of the bulletin board about the community Thanksgiving dinner that's free of charge at the Walter J. Conley Lodge on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Turkey and all the trimmings. It's a wonderful evening for everyone. It's free to everyone. And one of my favorite people in this world, since the day I met him years and years ago, was Bernie Weinstein. He was everything that Adam mentioned and that the mayor mentioned at the beginning. And he was a wonderful, kind, good-hearted gentleman who served mankind well and loved every minute of doing so. That's all.
Thank you. Councilmember DeBenedetto.
Yes, my condolences to Bernie, the attorney's family, as we all call him, knew him a long time. I think he's the last member of the JWV that I can remember going to the Memorial Day parade committee, so they lost a good man. Congratulations to Margaret and Adam.
Thank you.
Welcome you back. Your hard work that did not go unnoticed by our taxpayers and our voters. Thank you and welcome back.
Thank you.
Spectacular committee, tremendous time again this year to all the volunteers who helped out, the police department, the DPW. Great job, everybody, on everybody's accounts, and I look forward again next year to it. First of all, sir, Lynn Cannon works for us. I have to get this right because Glenn Guy is watching, and I know you know Glenn Guy, you catch him, they stream, so I gotta be careful with
A lot of basketball, a lot of softball.
Yeah, I'm watching out for the Nescafe guys. I'll get to be careful, they'll get on me. Lynn Cannon works for us. She was only doing what she was told to do. The merchants, we look after our merchants. The merchants didn't complain to us. What you did, and we have people that show up at corners now and then, and they'll give out melons, and they'll give out this, and they'll give out that, and it was getting out of hand. I think what we have is lack of communication on your part and our part. We had heard about you giving out sandwiches. We didn't know anything about you. So we reacted. And I apologize if you took it the wrong way. We're not reacting to what you did, it's how you did it. We have plenty of clergy meetings. We have other ways to offer what your service that you are giving out. And truly, I do applaud you for what you did. But Lynn works for us, and she was only doing what she was supposed to do. You came to the right place, though, to correct this. And I thank you for coming tonight and letting us know who you are and what you're doing.
I know there's a lot of places that you could do the same thing, but I think the people that I deal with are mostly the working poor. So they're congregating at the bus station, they're not over at St. Peter's and a lot of other different places. So I think it would be left out.
Okay, well, I just want to set the record straight. She was only doing what she was supposed to be doing.
No.
The merchants didn't complain to us. It's our job to care for our neighbors. So, in closing, I'd like to say happy anniversary to Kevin and his wife, and many, many more. And everybody have a good night.
Thank you. Councilmember Jordan.
Thank you. Just to piggyback on what Mike had just said, Lynn does work for us. She's gotten complaints and she was doing her job. For years now, we've worked on food insecurities in Hillsborough. We have several different organizations that have all come together to tackle that. We have food distribution almost on any given week in Freehold-Borough. So what I'd like to do is perhaps maybe talk with you, and maybe we can incorporate what you're doing into some of the things that we're already doing. We have specific locations, And what we found is when people, you don't have to be in one specific location. When people find within the community that there'll be a food distribution, they'll normally come to that area in order to get that food. So I'd love to work with you to see if we can incorporate it in some of our other distributions, because we're all well aware of the need. That's not only in our community, but right now across the United States. But thank you for what you're doing, and we'll work with you. Just a couple other things I have. Recreation, they still have a few openings in their Mahjong in the mornings on Tuesdays. Tomorrow there will not be any Mahjong because it is our Veterans Day and we will be closed. But in the morning, I think we have 3 or 4 spots left. In the afternoon at 6 o'clock, and we have about 8. Also, we have our Holly decorating contest, recreation. All of that is up online. If you'd like to, enter your house for your celebrating the holiday, whatever holiday you celebrate, you can enter that, and they'll be out to judge in December. And basketball, tryouts are ongoing. Basketball for recreation will be starting in mid-December, so everybody come on out. We had well over 100 kids sign up, so it's going to be another big season. So come on out and cheer on the kids. All the games are held at Park Avenue on Saturdays. Mayor's Wellness Committee, we were just awarded a grant to work on mental health awareness in the borough. So more to come on that, and I'll have a lot more information to come on that. So we're going to probably be launching that within the next month or so. Also, we have chair yoga on Thursdays. That's at 2 p.m. Chair yoga at 1 p.m. here in the borough. So if anybody would like to come by and take part of that, you're all more than welcome. And then the health department will be giving out flu shots December 1st and 4th. I thought it was the 1st. 4th. The 4th here in this room, if anybody still has not gotten their flu shot yet. 4 to 6 p.m. And just, I want to just congratulate Margaret and Adam. You guys, I know all the work that you guys put in and what you do for the community, and I know we know the community saw that as well. So congratulations, and I look forward to working another couple of years with you guys.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Can I just say one thing? Remember, Glenn guy's been texting me. You did take him to the hole when you played basketball. All the time.
Easily.
You heard it, man. Thank you.
He said easily?
Easily.
Easily. Cool. They'll be looking for you outside. Thank you. Councilmember Rogers.
Thank you. Just a few things, try not to keep it too long, and I apologize for my voice. These days it tends to go in and out, but I'll try and get through everything. I also wanted to offer my condolences to the Weinstein family on their loss. I wanted to say thank you for coming tonight. There was a bit of discussion around what you were doing. It's not that we don't appreciate what you're doing, and we recognize the need for people to get the food that they need. So I appreciate that, and that is going to work with you to allow you to continue the work that you do. And I appreciate even more that you went through the proper channels to be able to do what you do. So thank you for taking so much interest and so much care for a town that you don't even live in, and for the people that come through here. So I appreciate that sincerely. Just a couple things. I think this occurred after the last meeting, but we had the opportunity to go to the school. I don't remember if we talked about it or not, to meet with the contingent from Taipei, and it was just amazing. There were such wonderful people, and I truly appreciate that we have a partnership with them, where our kids are able to communicate with them. And also I had a great time talking to Mr. Handsome, that's his name, to find out how their programs in China compare to ours in the U.S. It was quite an interesting discussion. And, there were some similarities, but also some differences. So it was very enlightening to, be able to spend some time with them. And I thank our superintendent, Asia Michaels, for inviting us to come and participate with them. I also wanted to congratulate our girls soccer program. They are going into the semifinals. Jay, you have your two daughters on that team, and also Dan Xavier's daughters. And, you know, just a bunch of wonderful girls. We had the opportunity to provide breakfast for them, and just meeting them was so nice. But they are working hard to get to that state final, and we wish them well in their future games. The Veterans Recognition Program was amazing. It's just, that is like one of the highlights of being on council and being able to support things like that. And to know that the signs are going to be up there permanently. You know, I was a little disappointed when we didn't do the banners, but I agree that this is better because it's something that's always going to be there to recognize our veterans. Also I wanted to say thank you to Spectacular, and that you and your team have done an amazing job. This was my first year actually riding the Haunted Hayride, and it was just so fun. So I'm thankful that we're able to do things like this in our community and to, you know, provide fun events for the families that live in our town. And I just wanted to mention a couple other things. HRAC, which is our Human Relations Advisory Committee, is looking for volunteer organizations as we go into winter and as we are in fall. There are certain members of our community that are not able to, you know, rake their leaves or won't be able to shovel snow. So if there's any outside organizations that would be willing to help us help these members of our community, we'd be very appreciative to have you reach out. You can reach out to hrc@freeholdborough.org, or you can find us on Facebook. And then I also want to congratulate our library on receiving a $10,000 gift from the Carnegie Corporation. Because we are a free public library under the Carnegie Library, they were able to distribute funds to each of those libraries, and we are very grateful, especially as our main bookseller is going out of business, and it will give us money to continue to keep our books up to date and that kind of thing. And then finally, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the voters of Freehold Borough for supporting Adam and I in our re-election bid. It's an honor to continue serving this beautiful community. We have started some great projects, and I look forward to seeing them through to completion. But even with victory comes a realization that every voice does not always feel heard. So we saw that in the results as well. And as I've said in the past, and I'm saying again, my door is always open for anyone who has questions. I may have to invite others in to get the answers, but I will get them, even if the answer is not right now. In addition to focusing on the exciting projects, my promise remains that I will do my best to make sure our residents are and feel safe, that the Freehold community remains affordable relative to our surrounding communities, that we remain a family-focused and friendly town, and that this is a town that respects, honors, and upholds service and diversity. The next few years will be challenging at the local, state, and federal levels, but fortunately, our team is committed to finding cost-effective ways to continue to move Freehold forward. We have been successful in getting over $5 million in grants to help us build out and maintain our infrastructure, to help maintain and improve our roads and parks, and to help create food security for our residents. We have projects and partnerships that focus on health, build community, and create more opportunities to help those who are less fortunate. These things will continue to the best of our ability. We already know the hometown redevelopment project will increase our tax base, as well as some of the other smaller developments around town. All of these things work together to improve the lives of our residents, business owners, and those who visit Freehold. Thank you again for your vote of confidence, and I look forward to working with all of you for the next 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Freeman.
Thank you. I too want to extend my condolences to the Weinstein family. You know, we've lost so many of our older veterans, and unfortunately, that's the process. I was at the Marine Corps dinner. It was I've been a number of times. It's a very nice ceremony, and it's they recite the history of the Marine Corps each year, and it's a heck of a story. So everyone should try to hit that dinner at least once in their lifetime. Congratulations again to the spectacular committee, and to Margaret and Adam,
Thank you.
and to the veterans that got their signposts this weekend, and to the girls soccer team. I mean, there's a lot of good things going on. I'm the one that actually gets the phone call. I run the downtown, so I get the calls from the businesses. I also help Annette run the food safety net. So we'd love to have you participate. I mean, it's not nothing that exactly what was said. What you're doing is great. But the other day we had someone out there with Sterno's cooking food and selling food, and it's hard to know who's doing what, where, who's authorized, who's unauthorized. So we appreciate you and everything you're doing, and we look forward to working with you.
That's why I got the food license.
No, thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Just real quick, everybody's already said everything, but congratulations to Margaret and Adam on your re-election. Great job. Congrats to Dan Xavier and the Veterans Committee for the outstanding, sign topper program that they put together. Another longtime Nestle, Marty Essenez was one of the recipients on Saturday. So he's a longtime Nestle.
Three brothers worked there.
Yeah, so he's talking all about that. Glenn was there also. So I just want to thank you for what you're doing. We really appreciate taking the time, your money, your time to take care of, like Margaret said, you live in town and you're coming here to help out. During COVID, we were talking. Steve and I were talking, and we knew that as people stopped working, they weren't going to have the money to buy food. Food was going to become an issue. We put together what we call the COVID task force, made up of people from around town, fire department, police department, first aid, the hospital, everybody we could talk to, and we had weekly meetings, and the idea was to just go around, make sure everybody knew what everybody else knew. From that, we realized that there was going to be a food insecurity, and from that, the food safety net developed from that COVID task force. And what we found out there was multiple organizations that were all doing the same thing, and no one knew that the other was doing that. So what we did through the food safety net was coordinate those efforts. So they were able to provide something every day. We're going to do that same thing with you, through the efforts of the safety net, and just figure out how to coordinate. You're doing something great. We're going to make sure it continues. But as Mike said, Lynn was just doing her job. She was getting calls. So it was just a whole communication breakdown. And now that we know what's going on, we'll coordinate the efforts, and you'll be able to continue to do what you're doing. It'll just be coordinated. Yeah, the problem with that location is just the craziness of the bus station. So we'll coordinate all that.
Okay.
We'll talk with with police and everybody, and we'll coordinate the efforts. Might not be the exact spot, but we'll figure something out.
Okay.
But we just want to thank you. Thank you for coming. We appreciate that.
As a member of the food safety net, could I add something to that, please?
Sure.
When we were in the throes of COVID, and the food safety net was trying to provide food for everybody, we came up with some big issues surfaced. And one of those issues was that people were just setting up, good-hearted people were setting up distribution centers all over. And there were some issues with somebody who was getting, distributing food that they, that was donated by some businesses. ShopRite was one of them, and maybe not handling the food correctly. And there were some very serious issues that we had that were being presented under the guise of Freehold Borough. And there was some liability that surfaced that we just couldn't have it going on. We still have a holdover of that, where there are some people who are just opening trunks of cars and handing out food. I'm certain that you understand that we know you're not one of those, but there had to be rules established to control this. And the health department has rules, and we had to develop some rules. And one of them was that we just can't have stray vehicles around handing out food. So you understand, I hope, that we understand you and we appreciate what you're doing, and that we're going to try to work through it and see if we can find a way to pull you in to work with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay?
And I was very glad to work with Lynn to get the food
Yes.
handler's license.
Yes. Yeah, right.
I'm 1,000%, you don't know what kind of house I'm making my sandwiches in if I'm making them at home. Absolutely.
And so you understand the
So,
problem we were running
absolutely.
into.
Absolutely.
Right, and I just want to know, just very quickly, did you go to Tom's River Schools?
No, I went to Red Mount Catholic.
Oh, okay. Because I could have been I could have been your 8th grade teacher then.
Oh. My sister taught at Tom's River East.
See?
I
My first students
I
are
played
second-
basketball with a lot of freehold guys in
Yes,
Red Mount Catholic.
I hear.
Because there was no St. John Vianney at that time. Right?
Your guy's, the guy's son was just made the
Yeah, yeah.
head coach.
All right, but anyway, thank you. We'll coordinate.
Okay.
Coordinate the effort. Item 15 this evening is resolution authorizing a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provision of New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12D8, regarding personnel matters. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into executive session to discuss this. We're going to come back out. We're not going to take any action on what we discuss in there. We're just going to come out to adjourn the meeting. So, someone like
I'll move that.
to move that?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Benedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Rice?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Stetser?
Yes.